evening, Chris and Tammy. I'm coming to you live from Toronto, Canada. It's always a pleasure to come here on a Saturday morning to give you some knowledge in reference to the back office, in reference to the compensation plan, in reference to the tools that we have available to build our business, and so forth. So you can always go back to previous trainings, and as soon as I've recognized everybody here that are attending, I'm going to show you exactly where you can access this if you're brand new here. Again, my name is Chris, and I'll be presenting and sharing this morning. We get confused with time zones with my beautiful wife, Tammy.
Evening.
Yes. And I'd like to, first of all, welcome Robert. Great to see you here. Let's see here. We have Marvin from Las Vegas. Welcome. We have Bakshir from Bangladesh. Welcome, Bakshir. Always nice to see you here. I know you're following us everywhere. Appreciate you. We have Celine here from Ghana. Welcome. Marie-Paul from Ottawa. How are you, Marie-Paul? Welcome. We have Adele Bertro. Welcome. Hola. Nice to see you here from Para Continua. Okay. Great to see you here. Let's see here. Let's see. We have Fulera from Belgium. Great to see you here, Fulera. We haven't seen you in a while. Nice to see you back here. We have Niaz. Great to see you here. Welcome from Pakistan. Great. Welcome. We have Inionam from Accra, Ghana. Welcome, Inionam. We have Fortunate. Welcome to have you here. Let's see. We have Tina. Welcome, Tina. Great to see you here. Regina, great to see you from Cape Coast. Nice. South Africa. I believe that's where it is. Let's see here. We have Fortunate, great from Ghana. We have Richard from Chilliwack, BC. Hey, Richard, how are you? We have great friends actually in Chilliwack. Let's see here. Regina, great to see you here. Let's see. Okay, I think we've recognized. We have Andy here. Great to see you here. Randy Bro, welcome. We have Ren, great to see you. James, Andres, Barbara, LDC, great to see you from the Netherlands. Great to see you here. We have Stefan, great to see you from Ohio, USA. We have Leon here from Hampton, Virginia. Great to see you. We have Victor from Columbia, Maryland. We have Mara and Lee from the Netherlands. Welcome. Great to see you here. We have Isambia, great to see you here. We have
a full house, Chris.
It's really, really good. So again, folks, welcome. We need to get started here. So folks, what's really important on our Saturday training, it is designed to help you leverage from the knowledge that we've had in the past 2.5 years with everything that's available in the GotBackup community. And here's the trick for you to really leverage from that. For you to show up, you will learn. But if your team shows up with you showing up, you will learn while you earn. And you're leveraging from our experience and knowledge to be able to educate your prospects or your associates, I should say, so that way you can focus in building your business. And if your teams are understanding the process to increase their income, motivate their teams and all of this is how you create a mammoth network marketing team that will pay you a beautiful income that are like a residual income that's like dividends deposit into your bank account just because you live and you bought an equity, and then every month there's dividends, some pays every week. That's exactly what I'm talking about by building a nice community that appreciate the service, appreciate the products, and at the same time are sharing information with others. This is how we build a network. Tammy, do you want to add something to that?
I'm just looking at everybody who's joined us, and we're quite excited about Joel Terrier and Dr. KOA going to be joining us in Ottawa next weekend, next Sunday for a meal. Everybody pays their own meal, but a bunch of us are coming. Everybody's going to get a chance to meet Joel. So if you're in the area, I'm seeing Montreal, you're not far away. Anybody in Ottawa, Toronto, it's easy to get there. It's a great opportunity for everybody to hang out with Joel. So I just wanted to put that message out there, Chris. There we go. Perfect. So yeah, this is in the team groups. If you don't have this, just take a quick screenshot. We'd love to see you. Just make sure you let us know so we have the numbers for the tables, because it is at a restaurant.
Absolutely. So let us know if you're going to be coming in. Let us know in our Telegram group. Let your leaders know. And of course, some of you may not be in the area. That's totally understandable. But if you happen to be Events is always an opportunity to add some fuel into your business. And Dr. Keowe is African from Accra, Ghana, who currently live in London, England, who called Demi and I, several months back, saying he was coming back. He was coming to Canada for a visit in a town that's about 4 hours from where we live, but I grew up in that town. So I have lots of friends. Joel grew up also around the area. And we decided, well, okay, let's get together and let's spend the day together. That's going to be on the 17th. You're very welcome to join us there. It's going to be a nice meal. It's not really a presentation so far where we certainly can talk about the business. We can talk about the product, opportunity, and all of these things. But it's more to get to know each other and just kind of have some fun together. That's really what it's all about. So do take advantage of that. And I hope that you will actually be attending. Okay, so let me just get my stuff back together here. Okay, 1 second. And I wanted to start with this slide over here. Here we go. This page. One thing that's really important, folks, is trainings. It's what maintains your retention. If people understand their part, what they need to do, and they understand what the basic, they don't need to understand the whole engine. They just need to understand the basic functionality that they need to handle, where if multiplied many, many times, that duplication will create growth, which will lead into momentum. And that's how we build an organization. I want to bring you back to the idea that GotBackup is a company that provides a service that everyone needs, that everybody can afford, regardless where you live in the world, because everybody has those devices on hand. So the fact is, we understand how pressure the information in there is, and if you can release your device from all these heavy pictures and videos on the cloud that could be there, which you can access in any way, shape, or form as you see fit, even from a hotel lobby computer, you can log into your cloud and access every single thing you need. This is really cool. That's why the cloud is becoming so popular, because it's very convenient, because it follows you wherever you are, as long as you have access to the internet, right? So that's what makes it fun. Now, when you mix that with an opportunity that gives you an opportunity to earn an income, folks, there is no stopping on how big this could become. Dropbox have been around for a long time. I keep using them because they have over 700 million users. Now, imagine GotBackup taking a percentage of that. Folks, there's going to be a lot of millionaires in GotBackup. Doesn't matter what country you live in. It all depends on the work you put into it and the influence you have in getting your team members and the people within your social network, your social environment, to come in and check this out. So today we want to talk about the compensation plan. How do we get paid and how to maximize your income? Now, in light of that, this is the channel. I'm just going to take this here. I'm going to copy it and I'm going to put it right into our comment section. So feel free to click on that and make sure that you subscribe. Okay. You want to click on this and subscribe. Very important. Once you've done that, then whenever there's a training presentation added on, you get a notification from YouTube. Talk about an amazing system that is completely seamless. You don't have to do anything. That's how YouTube works, right? So very exciting here. So what's happening here is you can see all past recordings from different trainings and presentations from different leaders. What I'm referring to right now is this training over here. Okay. Some people ask, is this call recorded? Yes. Every single session we do for the past 2 years in a couple months, it's recorded. Every single one of them. Right. And you want to find that some of these trainings are repetitive. They are repetitive by design because people tend to learn through repetition. And we understand that many people are not going to go back and listen to those calls. But the fact is they are there for your convenience. So if you're looking for some information on, for example, the funnels, how to use the funnels, we have one here that we did 13 days ago. Here's another one, simplify and scale your success from the back office. That was done 2 weeks ago. Okay, you can see there's a bit of interest here, right? There's around 667 people that saw that. And these are events. Now, the events, I put them in here because they are part of the trainings, but you can also go back and check the events. For example, if you go back to GBU virtual events, they're all here. That's only events. That's all you're going to find in there. So again, this is done by design, so you can easily find what you're looking for. And you have different presentations in different languages and so forth. Okay, so let me move on to right now the compensation plan. Okay, this file here, this PDF here, can actually be accessed from your back office. So if I go back to my GotBackup, let me go back and share my computer here again. Remove, add. Okay. And if I focus on this is your back office. Okay. So make sure that you log in. Remember that the support folks, you have to go back and click this button to see the response. If you created a support ticket, make sure of that. And I want to focus on extra promo tool. You see, if I click on extra promo tool, it's going to take you to this page here, which, by the way, if you're sharing a page, you see this here is a great recruiting tool for if you're passing down to this link to someone, for someone to access something that you want to share. This little banner on the top gives the opportunity for someone to look at the information. So I just wanted to share with you what they get, right? It will take, when you click on this, it will take them right here with the information, right? Is not awesome? Really, really, really cool. Now, let's carry on why I'm here. All the information is over here in multiple languages. Which one, Tammy, is it promotional content? Yes. So there's multiple languages over here. For example, if you click on French, you're going to see that there is some video and content here in French. If you go in Spanish, there's a lot more in Spanish. You can see here, all the information is over there. The compensation plan details are here. Okay. Obviously, for the sake of this call, because we are an English audience, I will stick with the English. So I'm just going to go back. If you go back to English over here, you can see all the things are there. Okay. Everything you need to learn, extra information here. The videos that we present are every single Wednesdays and on Fridays. This is the PDF that I'm referencing here. This one here. I'm just going to go back to this page because it's right here. Okay. It's very common. Okay. Now, instead of using this, I've uploaded it directly into the broadcast here. So I'm going to do that and use it right here. It's kind of easier to see. So one thing that's important in understanding the GotBackup is there are 7 ways to get paid. You don't need to fully understand all the 7 ways. Okay. But we're going to focus on explaining some information on each of those categories for you to understand what they do and how this benefits you and your team. But it's important that you get a general idea. So I'm going to start with, for example, the compensation plan team bonus grid. Okay. And I will go, I'm just going to follow the PDF here, and then I'm going to reference the presentation that we share on a regular basis. So you can see a reference on how things are documented in a PDF to how it's being presented on a weekly basis. Now, the GBU Compensation Plan Team Bonus Grid, this is for you to understand the different ranks, because understanding the ranks is a very important aspect of expectations for your income as you're building your GotBackup business. If this makes sense, and I know we have a 10-second delay here, if this makes sense, just put a Y or a yes into the chat. Just want to make sure that you guys are following and what I'm sharing here and what Tammy and I are going to be sharing with you does make sense to you.
I think this sheet is so important. It gives you really clear direction on all the ranks. And, you know, to have a screenshot of that and have it in front of you, it gives you guidelines on where you're at and where you want to be. And that is going to be your inspiration and your drive to get to that next level. So I love this chart, this grid chart.
I totally agree. In fact, it's part of your your reports when you log into your back office. Okay. So Dr. Kiwi, this is very accurate. I mean, these trainings are your lifeline. If your team attends these trainings, folks, you're using the system to build your business for you. You're not necessarily doing it, but you're leveraging from what's available. And all you do is you're pointing the finger so people know where to go. Okay. So that's why I really appreciate the feedback here. And thank you for all of you that commented yes. Okay. And folks, get into a habit of participating. This is very important. Don't just be on the background, transparent and being invisible. Take the time just to put a yes or Y or a yes to confirm if they say that makes sense to you. If it's a no, then it's a no. Okay. Now, the thing here, looking at the GBU compensation plan, this grid is very important because it will determine your income bracket. For example, a copper, and I'll explain that to you as we go further into the explanation, the comp plan, that's when you sponsor one person on your left, one person on your right. This is where every single one of you have to do. If you're sitting here and you're brand new, or maybe you've been here for a year, but you haven't really started yet, the very first thing you need to do is find your first two people sponsored, one on your left team, one on your right team. The moment you do that, you are a copper. A copper starts earning cycle 1 in the cycle bonus, which we'll get into in a minute. Okay. Now, as a silver, what's happening over here is you have someone in your team that you have personally sponsored, or not necessarily someone you personally sponsored, but coming from someone that you have personally sponsored. Doesn't matter how far it goes down the line. Someone became copper. Remember, copper is someone that just decided, I'm building my business. They sponsor one on the left team, one on the right team. Now, as a silver, you're still in tier 1. You can see here that the tier 2 generation and the other bonuses, cycle match, and the match cap, all of these things, the rank pool, the leadership bonus, all of this is going to be impacted by the levels that you're at. So you need to understand, how do you move up in rank is by the duplication occurring in your business, starting with your own recruiting. As a goal, what happens is that you have sponsored 5 people. And out of those 5 people, and remember, it may not need to be the one that you're sponsored, but as long as it comes from a line of one of those 5 people, as long as there's three that are duplicating, that means they're building their business. There's one on the left team, one on the right team. You are a goal. Now you're starting to benefit from the generation bonus. And don't worry about it right now if you're not sure exactly where this is all. I'm going to show you exactly what that means, generation, NDC, and so forth. Okay? So now you're starting to open up the percentage available to you that is paid through a compensation plan. Now, where it becomes very interesting as a platinum, you have personally enrolled 10 people. And these 10 people will qualify you for platinum, sapphire, and emerald. So when you sponsor your 10 people, what the difference will be is how many have been qualified to become copper. So as a platinum, and there's another slide that explains all of that. So as a platinum, now you're in tier 2. I just want to focus on the tiers because that's a really important aspect, and where you move on to the different compensation plan. I will expand on that. Everything's going to make sense, folks. If you're a bit confused, don't worry about it. So tier 2, you are basically did the exact same work. And the moment you become a platinum, now you're moving to tier 2 instead of tier 1. And tier 2 is about 3 times the amount of tier 1. So for the same amount of work that you have done, you are tripling your income and your cycle bonus. You see how significant that is? Just because now you went and sponsored 10 people, and out of that, 4 became copper. The reason why the coppers are important because that's what encourages the duplication in your business. Okay. And now you start earning the generation bonus, which I will expand a little bit later when we get there. Okay. Now I'm just going to stop at Sapphire because after that, it's kind of all the same, just increased percentage. But as a Sapphire, what's happening here, as I mentioned, you still have those same 10 people, but now there's 5 people that are copper from your line of sponsorship. Again, your line of sponsorship means that it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the 5 that you sponsored that became copper. It could be someone from their line of sponsorship. Okay, so someone that they brought in, maybe not them, someone became copper. This is very cool because GotBackup gives you an opportunity to qualify, even if your personal did make it, but someone in their downline does. This is very cool. So as a platinum, as a Sapphire, now you're going down one more generation of accumulating the generation bonus. I'll explain that in a minute. But now what's happening is you're qualifying for cycle match. So that means every time you sponsor someone in GotBackup, whatever they earn in their cycling, you earn 25% from every single person you sponsored. Some of you have sponsored 150 people. Some of you have sponsored 200. Some of you have sponsored 3. Some of you have sponsored 1,000, and some is way more than that. You understand what's going on here? So they have the potential to earn 25% up to $1,000 US. So if let's say they build a big business and you are a Sapphire and your income becomes $1,000, and let's say it's more, you can't get more than 1,000 unless you move up to an Emerald. So I'll explain that as we keep moving forward here, folks. This is very cool. You can earn up to $2,000 for every single person you sponsored based on their bill and on the organization that they've built. Look how far this goes here, folks. If you sponsor someone that hits Black Diamond and they build a massive organization, you can earn up to $20,000 for that one person's organization. This is really, 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 really significant. Okay, so let's keep moving on here forward. So, you know, when we talk about the payout is 75%, that means if GotBackup earns, I don't know, $100,000, it's more than that, but I'm just giving you a number so everybody can relate to that. Well, 75,000 is used to pay the associates in that fashion. We'll explain the CAB in a minute. That's when someone sponsors someone, when someone you introduce to the business, they take 25% from that 75%. So that's 1/3 is paid into the Fast Start commission. Okay, I call it Fast Start, but it's called the CAB. Okay, and we'll come back to that in a minute. And the cycle earning and the cycle match, 37%. And the generation dynamic compression, we'll explain all that to you in a minute. 25% from that 75%. Rank pool, 9%. Leadership pool, 4%. So this is very, very substantial. Let's move forward. So now to understand the ranks, how to qualify to get to those ranks I was telling you about earlier. Well, let's start with bronze. Tammy, you want to cover that up to, let's say go up to Sapphire.
Yeah. So as a bronze, that means you've sponsored one person. And if somebody in your team has reached the ranks in the back office, you can send flyers to recognize them, which we highly recommend because it's all about supporting people and cheering people on getting to the levels. So copper, as Chris shared, it's one left, one right. And you can see there on the placement, one left, one right. And then a silver, to get to silver, you need your 2 people, one left, one right. And you have to have one person in that line that is a copper. Okay. And that's when you get to silver. And then when you to get to gold. So look at these as we're sharing this, because whatever level you're at, you know what your next step is. So to become a gold, you need to have 5 people and 2 have to be placed on each side, and then the 5th you can put them on either side. It doesn't matter. And you can see the line of the copper line. You have 1 in 3 different enrollment lines. Okay, so that means if you have 5 people, 3 of those lines have to have a copper within that line. And you have to have a qualification of 25 people in your enrollment tree. So out of the 5, you got to be duplicating. You got to be duplicating within your organization the coppers, and that's how you grow in your business. So your 2-team tree is also 25. So here's a perfect example here, you as a gold, because they don't have to be personal. So in the center of the greens, these are all of your personals. You happen to put 3 on the left and 2 on the right. And each one are also bringing people. So you can see on the top left, you can see that's your personal. They qualified as a copper because they have 1 on the left and 1 on the right. So that's one of your qualification. And you can see in the center on the left, the person you sponsored didn't reach the copper yet. They may have brought 1 below them, but the person below them who they brought or you brought came copper. Or no, not what you brought, what they brought through their team. So anything below you, when there's coppers within your enrollment tree, they all count. Okay. So you just need to know that you need to have 3 separate lines from your personals, that within that line, there's a copper.
So in this case, folks, what's happening here, and Tammy, I've just explained that. So when you see the goal 5, that's 5 personal that you've enrolled, 2 on your left, 2 on your right. I'm just kind of reedifying this. Okay. And what's happening here is you have in the 5 people you sponsored, 3 of those 5, it may not even be them. As long as it's within the line of sponsorship, there's 1 copper that is found. So again, I just want to iterate that because I want people to understand this clearly. This person here that you sponsor on your left, and I'm just underlining what Tammy's saying because I want this to sink in here, folks. It's not that person became copper, but it's someone in their downline. You can see the brownish C. That's a copper. And it was not the person they brought in. It was the person that was brought in after that sponsored too. You see, this is the key to understanding this. For you to move up, you understand that you still have 2 on your left, 2 on your right, all the way down to black diamond. Now, most likely, the reality is you're most likely going to have more than that. But that's what the plan required for you to move up in rank, is that your downline is duplicating what it is that you've done to reach that level. And as long as there's 25 people on your team, because your team is starting to duplicate and build, some will only bring 1, some won't really initiate for months, maybe years. But the fact is, you don't wait for people to start. You start. And if the people you brought in are not doing anything, it is what it is. You bring more people. That's the nature of network marketing. And these people earn great income in network marketing. Of course, we're focusing on GotBackup here. So as long as there's 25 people in a team, you are qualified for gold. Now you start reaching up for the ranks that are will affect the income. As a platinum, right, there's 10. And that's what I mentioned. Platinum, sapphire, emerald, those stands remain. They're all there. The placement hasn't changed from gold. But the difference here, if you go back to the enrollment, you can see here platinum went from 3 to 4. So that means there's 4 people that became copper from within your line of sponsorship. You can see sapphire, same thing. But keep in mind that the team have to also grow. So from platinum, it's 40 people on your team. It's not you bringing 40 people, which you can, but it's a combination of everybody doing their part. As of sapphire, there's 50. You see how this grows? So this is how this increases. Is as you move up to a diamond and ruby and diamond, that's when there's more coppers within the same line of sponsorship. So at the end of the day, if you are duplicating people reaching the level of copper, that is the building block for you to grow within that rank grid without fully needing to understand it. As long as everybody comes in, they bring two, that is going to happen by default. So, Tammy, let's focus on the importance of the cab and how generous the company is with the amount of income. Remember, 1/3 of the 75% payout is given when you sponsor someone into GotBackup. I'll turn this over to you.
Yeah, so the customer acquisition bonus, CAB for short, and this is one time when people join the business. So 200% is on the monthly. So if somebody that you sign up decides to come in monthly, you're going to get 200% upfront. So rounding it off the $10, just keeping it simple, is you're going to get $20, which is huge, you guys. That's why sponsoring, people who are focused on sponsoring are making really, really, really good money. And they're very generous up front. I know that we've been in the industry for a very long time, and we've never seen anything so generous up front for the people who are actually doing the work. 50% on the annual. And the reason most people come in annual, which we really encourage people to do, is first of all, they pay up front. They're good for 12 months. And it gives them time to get themselves set up. Okay. Because people don't want to spend money and not have any value. So it gives them time to create that. And 25% on all VIP packages. So that we really encourage the people that we bring in to invest in themselves, invest in the tools, because the tools are going to help them advance in the growth in their business. And so you're getting 25% off that upfront, and then 25% on customers. So customers are not they're not members, they're not in the organization, in the genealogy tree. They're just part of your customer base, which is great. It's great to have customers. Not everybody wants to make money. I don't know too many people who don't want to make money, but they're out there, right? So 25% is ongoing for that.
Now, one thing I'd like to focus on a little bit, and I'm jumping not in a sequence of every single slide in every single pages on the comp plan. I'm kind of jumping around a little bit because I want to stay in the context of what needs to be explained for you to establish clarity. As Dr. KOA stated, once we have clarity, we can seriously maximize this comp plan. And folks, this is exactly what Tammy and I have been doing from day one with every companies we've ever built a network with. If everything is clear on the steps, then you can do the steps and expect the earnings relative to your work. So back to the GotBackup sponsorship system. When we talk about a 2-team tree, because when you build your business, you're going to have members in your organization from your position down on the left and on the right. I'm sure everybody's in agreement with me on that. But it's going to be mixed with people you brought in, and the people that were brought in by the people you brought in. And if you happen to be, remember, we only have two sides to sponsor. So anybody who's building their business at one point will have to sponsor on the bottom right or bottom left, which you might be part of. So you will see what we call spillover. These are people that are above you building their business. Don't expect your upline as to what have you done for me lately, upline. This is not how you build a network. This is not how you build fortune. You build a fortune by doing the activities and creating the environment for people to thrive and build and learn, establish clarity. But they will be, many of you will have what we call spillover, people that end up in your downline. So that's the 2-team tree. So this entire organization on the right and on the left is a combination of everybody you brought in, combined with the people above you and below you who went to work. When we talked about enrollment tree, you can see here that they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different sponsors. That because you sponsored 5 people. Now, some could be some on the right, some on the left. Maybe 4 out of the 5 could be on the right. One could be on the left because the left has lots of spillover. Different scenario will happen for everybody. But this is to represent your work, what you have contributed. And that is what determines how much money you're going to earn from the compensation plan. So you can certainly benefit from the effort of others above you, but that will not grow as fast as what you bring to the table. It combines to what you bring to the table. So this here is a representation of the 5 people you sponsored and the growth that's occurring underneath them. Okay. So let me carry on and explain. Let's see here.
And we recommend to download the PDF and go through it and read everything in the compensation plan. Because the more you understand it, the easier it is in communication with people that you're connecting with. Because people are going to ask you, there's some people who have experience in the industry, and they're going to ask you how the compensation plan works. And they want to know how much money is up front. They want to know how much money is in the back end in building teams. So it's important to have some knowledge there.
Yeah. And I'd like to answer the question here for Bandhu. Wait a minute. When you say sponsor, does that mean I will have to pay for the person? No. See, this is a business where everybody is responsible for their business, right? If I want to buy a McDonald's, now, it's not maybe a good example for healthy food, but it's a very, very powerful business model that we know is very successful today. So if someone wants to make money, they will take their own money to invest into McDonald's, learn, go through whatever university they provide to make sure everybody understands the concept. Once they pay the franchise fee and everything else, that's them paying, right? And McDonald's headquarters benefits from every single monthly revenues that every McDonald's around the world make. Okay. So this is kind of like a network marketing. This is what I'm talking about. So to answer your question is, Bandhu, no, absolutely not. You do not pay for people. If you do that, maybe someone paid you cash and you transfer the money in your card. But at the end of the day, you never pay for your downline. That is not right duplication, because I assure you it'll be short-lived. You're looking for people that are motivated, that are willing to invest $100 a year to build a business. Folks, well, it's $120 because it's $20 to become a member. Just $100, it's a customer. So you understand what I mean by that. So the point here, folks, is very important to understand. Now, what I'd like to do is, now that we talked a little bit of the compensation plan on the PDF, I want to create an understanding from the presentation that's being delivered every single week for the past 2.5 years. Well, it's not exactly 2.5, but you know what I mean. Okay. So over here, Tammy, why don't we cover this a little bit, which is what we cover in every single presentation, so people can relate to the compensation plan documentation and what's being presented.
Yeah, be sure to show up at the presentations. Obviously, invite. But the presentations, you get the great foundation of what it takes to build, which are the first 3. And customer acquisition bonus, I explained it to you earlier, how that works. And, you know, when people come in monthly, or they come in yearly, you get your commissions on that. And then you got the cycle earning bonus, you got the matching check bonus. So, and then the rest are bonuses as you start building within your organization those coppers. That's the key, is to get everybody to copper. Once they're at copper, then they'll get their people to copper, and so on and so forth. And that's the goal in all of this.
I totally agree, Tammy. And the fact is, when I was explaining, let's see here, I think it was this slide over here. See, when I was explaining this, tier 1 cycle, tier 2 cycle, generation bonus. Okay, so now let's go back to the PowerPoint. Okay, so Tammy talked about the cab, and she's already explained that. She doesn't have to explain that again. Just go back and just review the video at the beginning, because we referenced it on the PDF, and that was the examples that we shared. Then the cycle earnings. That's what I was explaining here. And of course, I've explained to you the importance to understand the left side and the right side. So over here, what's really important when you're calculating the income you're going to make, well, if you look at, let's see here, let me go back to the PDF. If you look at this PDF over here, you're referencing to the 2-team tree. So this is combined from the people you bring in and the people above you that are building their businesses that may end up in your downline. Okay. So this is what it is. That's what we mean by indirect referral that came from someone above you. Okay. So from there, when you look at the cycle bonus, and when we explain tier 1 and tier 2, again, it goes back to this slide over here. Cycle tier 1, cycle tier 2. Copper, silver, gold, they are all in tier 1. Platinum, now you go to tier 2, all the way up to black diamond. So back to the compensation plan over here. That's what we talk about here. One is you remain active every single month. Number 2 is you need to enroll 2 people, one on the left team, one on the right team. That's the second step. The third step is now you earn cycles because there's 6 members into your team that is combined from people you bring in and people that might be above you. And again, folks, it's really important that you don't get caught up into this emotional roller coaster of upline, what have you done for me lately? That is not the right approach. I'm telling you, anybody who have a hard time with that have a hard time building a business because they rely on someone else to determine their future. If that someone else doesn't deliver, then that's it for them. Tammy and I have never relied on that ever. Has there been some spillover? Absolutely, there have been. But the point here is we went to work. Every week we present. Every weekend we train. That's a commitment that we made, not just for our team, but for the greater good of the entire company. Because if the company does well, we do well. And this is something that's very important, is protect the golden goose. So back to this slide over here, step number 3 is 6 people. So the ratio is 4-2. So there has to be 4 people on your left side and 2 people on your right side. Okay. So how can you confirm that into your business? Well, let's go back to this slide. Let me remove that here. One moment. Remove, add this. Okay. So I'm in a demo account right now. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go into my business. I'm going to go under my, my downline. Okay. So let's just wait for it to come back. Here we go. Okay. So that's my downline. So in the demo account here, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 on the left, 1, 2, 3, 5 on the right. Okay. So now you're trying to understand the cycle. How many cycle are you earning? Well, what you do is you go back here where it says downline stats, and you click on this. Okay. It shows here that there are 6 people, 2 on your left and 4 on your right. Okay. That are currently active. That means that they're paying their $10 a month. And in the center here, these are people that did not renew. So out of the 4 people on the left, 2 did not renew. Okay. So what's going on is on the right, everybody's there. The 4 are active. So over here, it shows you there's a total of 4 on the left, 4 on the right. So the total of 8 people on your team. But the reality is 2 people decided, well, I'm quitting. Folks, don't worry about people who quit. It's called the cycle of life. It's called being humans. And not every single person will stick with the program. Accept that that is the fact. It's the way it is. Don't sign up for that class as to why you're quitting. Of course, you can try to explain to them, and maybe something went wrong. They had a hard time with something. Now they clarify what the issue was. Boom, they're reactive. So I'm not saying not to reach out to these people. You certainly do. But if someone just wants to walk away, let them go and remain friends. Don't break the relationship because they choose that it's not for them. Let them go. Not everybody's engineers. Not everybody's nurses. Not everybody's doctors. Not everybody will do blue collar work. Some will do white collar, whatever that is. People choose. Okay. So I'm sharing this with you because I know sometimes we get emotionally wrapped up with people quitting. It is life. You stay the course. So back to this slide over here. This is how do you calculate a cycle? Well, you need to have 4 on one side and 2 on the other. If let's say this number was, I don't know, 4 times this amount or 10 times this amount or 100 times this amount, right? If there was 4,000 people here and 2,000 people there, well, you understand that the amount of cycles are going to be quite significantly more. Okay. So, and again, the cycle will be worth based on the company's profitability. Every single month, we get a report on the tier 1 value and the tier 2 value. It's pretty much been the same for about 2 years. But over time, as we get into momentum, and I assure you that the time is coming, these numbers are going to grow. So for the same amount of cycles you have in your team, as the company increases their profitability, these numbers are going to grow. So your income are going to grow because the company is doing better. You see what I mean? So the fact is, why are we focusing so much in training the entire company? Because we know if the company does better as a whole, everybody increases their income because the cycle income will add. Is there any, I know, Tammy, I kind of took over for a while here. Is there anything else you want to add to this?
No, just keep going, Chris.
Perfect. Awesome. So I just want you guys to understand that you can calculate how many cycles you have just by calculating the ratio of 4 to 2. For every 4 on one side and 2 on the other side, it is 1 cycle. So just do the math. And we've done many trainings on that.
Yeah, when you go back one, I just wanted to share one simple thing with everybody. When you see the tree, when you see the tree organization, if you see a red line underneath,
yes,
that means that's your personals. And then the others are, you won't see the red line, just in case anybody's curious about that.
Yeah. And I love this, Maringo, love your message here, because success is in this project is learnable skills. Absolutely agree with you. Everything, folks, everything. Okay. So let's go back to this slide over here. So when we are presenting, you understanding this, now you get a better idea what, okay, well, how do I get to tier 2 opposed to tier 1? It's based on your rank. We talked about that. How do I earn a cycle? We've just explained to you exactly how this works. Now, the cycle match, folks, this is where the big bulk of the money will be generated. Because what's happening here is, as a Sapphire, you start earning matching cycle. You don't earn matching cycle the moment you signed up. It's the moment you sponsored 10 people, which occurs really when you're a platinum. And then there are 5 people from your line of sponsorship. We've explained what we mean by the line of sponsorship, have reached copper. So that means that people that you sponsored are not just in for the sake of signing up. They're in to build a network to create an income stream for themselves and their family. So from there, and of course, there's 50 people in your team as a whole. Now you start earning 25% from every single person that you've introduced into GotBackup personally. This is very cool. And based on their team, then that 25% doesn't change, but the amount that will change is the volume that's generated from their recruiting activities. And the fact is, you can earn up to $1,000, because some people, I'm telling you, you're going to be a Sapphire, and some people on your team that you're sponsored may end up becoming Emerald, Ruby, Diamond, and so forth. And the volume could be so big that you're reaching the $1,000 cap. There's a cap because the company says, hey, listen, We're willing to give you more money because your team is obviously doing well. But we would like you to also deliver a little bit by moving up from a platinum to an emerald. How do you become an emerald? Well, let's go back to this slide. What's an emerald? Well, you have sponsored, let's see here. Not this
Go
slide.
back to the other.
Yeah, the other
slide.
one there. I think it's this one, not this one. This one here. Okay, as an emerald, you remember as a platinum, sapphire, and emerald, you're still your 10. So you don't need to bring new people to the table. We do recommend it because some people do quit. It's just the nature of the beast. Excuse me the expression. Some people just choose to leave and leave. Don't worry about it. Replace them. And there's 2 on the left, 2 on the right. And you have to have 1 copper in 6 separate enrollment trees. So out of the 10 people, which are 10 lines, you remember when I talk about this slide over here? I want to go back to this one, this slide over here. Okay. So you see here on the enrollment tree, it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, there's 10. And out of those 10, what does this, what the qualification says? I believe it's right here. No, is that this one? Sorry. Yeah, that's it. So as Emerald, out of the 10 people, there are 6. So out of the 10 people who sponsor, and there are 6 lines where there's at least 1 copper. So someone in those lines, and you'll probably end up with way more than that if you duplicate this right. But that's a minimum requirement, and there's 100 people in your team. Okay, now you're an Emerald. So back to this over here, as an Emerald, now you're earning 50% from every single person you brought in into GotBackup, up to $2,000. And it's the same song and dance that we keep singing all the way up to Black Diamond. What it requires, again, I'm just going to go back to this slide over here. If you focus on those, you can see here that there's more people you sponsored. The placement is the same, but it's all about having more coppers in each line of sponsorship, right? You can see here that the sponsorship enrollment from Emerald, Ruby, Diamond, Double Diamond, all the way up to Triple Diamond. It's your 6th line of sponsorship, but there are more people that are qualifying for copper. What's a copper? Bring one on the left, bring one on the right. So the behavior of this comp plan is to create duplication. And when we tell you, go back to the presentation, when we tell you that the building block in building your business, it's all about producing coppers. That's why. And then we don't expand on 4, 5, 6, and 7, but 4, this is what we call generation bonus. Generation bonus is very, very attractive because if you build an organization, let's see if we can find a slide that can help you get this a little bit better here. Okay, I'm going to look at this one here. Okay, so now we're starting to say, okay, what the company says here is it goes down 3 levels. Okay, so if I go back to the slide, let me go back to this slide over here. Okay, and what we're saying here, there's not this one. This one here. Okay, so what they're saying here is you start earning generation bonus 3 level down for gold, 3 level down for platinum. See under generation, sapphire 4, emerald 5, ruby 6, diamond 7, double diamond 8, all the way up to blue, red, and black diamond, which is when you get to the blue, it's 10 generation. Okay, so from there, going back to the slide, to this page over here that explains that, that's what it's saying is how many goals do you have into your business. So what's going on is they will, for example, let's say that you're number 1 at the top. You're going down. It's going to stop at the next goal. So if there's no goal in your downline, then the entire line of amount of people belongs to you. What we mean by that is you can see here on the bottom left, which is generation bonus. This initial, I'm looking at the second line here. This initial on the left side, on the left, on the corner on the bottom. This initial goal rank reseller begins generation number 1 and is paid 2.5% to infinity of all subsequent orders in their entire 2-team generation. So let's say you have a very big team on your right side and a smaller team on your left side. You can benefit from the big team on your right side. And this is combined from the spillover. You know, the 2-team tree? This is combined from people you didn't bring in, combined with the people that were above you that sponsored also underneath. And you may have a line that's really large on one side. So every time someone is active with a $10 that they pay every month, you get 2.5%. So if let's say one side has hundreds of people, it will calculate 2.5% from all these $10 until it finds a goal. When there's a goal, it stops. Now that's the second. So let me go back to that slide to represent this. Let's go back here. Okay. So this is what this says. So let's say that there's 4 reseller and there's a goal after the fifth person, then it stops there. So you have 3 levels down. So the second one is the second level. And then, so there's 4 resellers in between 1 and 2, and it's 11 resellers between 2 and 3. So you're benefiting on 15 people. Actually, it goes down to all the way up to 4. That's as a goal. So you got 20 people you benefit from this 2.5%. But if there was no goal at all, they're all silvers and below, and let's say there's 100 people, well, you benefit from all these 2.5% from 100 people on their $10. And that will be added on to your monthly check when you see report at the end of the month. But the moment there's a goal, it counts. So you get 3 levels of goals. And that's how this works for the generation bonus. Okay, so let me go back to the slide over here. Okay. So this is what we talk about generation bonus 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is that means that there's at least 7 goals into your business. Okay. And that way, all the way up to the 8 goals. So if there's only 3 goals between you and all the way up to the bottom line of your entire business, well, you're benefiting from all of that. So if you don't fully understand this, folks, don't worry about it. Just come back to that. Listen to it again. Monitor your income as you get paid, and you'll start recognizing exactly what I'm talking about. That's generation bonus. So when we go back to this comp plan here and we say dynamic compression bonus, well, number 5 is exactly like number 4, but the difference here is it goes into a different levels. So if you go back over here, you can see here as a goal and as a platinum is the same. And the moment you move up to sapphire and above, now you're going down. See, you see the yes underneath DC? That's dynamic compression. So the yes means that now you're going another level down. As an emerald, another level down. As a ruby, another level down. That's what these yes means. Okay? So number 4, number 5 are kind of the same. It's just number 5 goes deeper into your organization from sapphire and above. So you're collecting more of this 2.5% until you find another goal. Okay? I'm hoping that this makes sense to everybody. So let's go back to the comp plan here. Rank pool bonus. This is when you reach a rank. So let me go back to the documentation of the PDF. And Tammy, if you want to monitor the questions, because as I'm talking, I'm not following the questions, if there are any. So let me go back here and jump into, let's see here. That's just continuing on the dynamic compression. Okay, so dynamic compression to first upline. Okay, so that's talking about dynamic compression. Same thing here. What we were talking about as a goal as a platinum is 3 level down, as sapphire 4 level, it's an emeralds 5 levels, and so forth. So we're still talking about the generation bonus dynamic compression here. And that's just explaining further and dynamic compression. Feel free to read all of this stuff that's expanding on that. And now we're getting into the bonus, the rank pool. Okay. So what happens here, and if you go back again, just to identify what I'm talking about, is number 6, the rank pool bonus. What time is it? Oh, it's 11 o'clock. We have to finish. So we're almost done here, folks. So the rank pool bonus is over here. So what's happening is it starts paying you when you're Sapphire. Okay. So what the company does, it looks at all the qualified Sapphire in a company, and it's divided among how many people qualified. Okay. And that's where the bonus that you're going to see. But it starts paying you from a Sapphire and above. So just by maintaining Sapphire, Emerald, Ruby, Diamond, Double Diamond, Triple Diamond, Blue Diamond, Red Diamond, Black Diamond, then these bonuses increases as you move up in rank. And the thing is, if you maintain those rank, you will always have this bonus paid to you. Okay. I'm not going to move into the leadership bonus, folks, because it's a bit more complicated, but it starts from rubies and above. Okay. And I'll explain that another day. I want to focus. I really, really wanted to focus on these bonuses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. 7 is just another bonus that happens to be paying you as you reach the leadership bonus. Okay. Because right now it's 11 o'clock and we kind of want to finish this up. But what's important here, folks, and Tammy and I would just want to end. The fact here is, if you didn't fully understand everything today, don't get discouraged, folks. When you started your first year in college or high school, you remember when the teacher was talking about a new like calculus, and all of these things, and it was complete gibberish until you're starting to apply yourself, listening to it again, watching. In our case, when you get paid, again, remember, you don't need to understand this to get paid these volumes simply by duplicating coppers. This is the message we want to deliver here. You don't need to understand the engine, but we want to explain the engine, that the money doesn't come from thin air. There's a logical reason why you get paid and why some people get paid good income. It's because they qualify, and there's clarity. As Dr. K always stated, there is clarity in the plan that you need to execute to maximize the income potential. So I'll end on this note, Tammy, and if there's any questions, we can.
At the end of the compensation plan, you're going to see that the 4 benchmarks, and that's really how to build it out, to build out the coppers. So there's 4 steps, and that's to enroll 1 left, 1 right. Maybe Chris, you can show that. We've explained it already throughout the process, but this is another great sheet here for you to really have an understanding of what needs to be done and to teach your team members to do the same. And if everybody's doing it, you're growing in rank, everybody's growing in ranks, and everybody's earning income. And that's the key in all of this, is when you join this business, is because you want to get ahead in life. You want to have a better opportunity to do more and have more in life. And but when you put your mind to it and you just hone in on focusing on the fundamentals, because this is really it, the 4 benchmarks, if you can follow that, you can teach it and grow. And that's what it's all about. And congratulations, Dr. KOA. We're seeing that your organization is absolutely flourishing. And congratulations to everybody who's part of that.
Yeah, there's also
and
Dr.
anybody else who's growing and hitting ranks.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you guys are doing absolutely phenomenal, folks. And at the end of the day, the reason we're mentioning their names, because we see their team members constantly moving up in rank. And this is what it is, folks. Every single one of you have the same opportunity. Every single one of you. It is your mindset that will determine your results. Don't be discouraged because these people are doing well, or those people are doing well, or why are these guys rocking? It's because they made a decision. And the fact here, folks, is remember, it's a $10 a month, not $1,000 to get started with a $200 a month auto ship, which is very standard, by the way, very normal in our industry. This is $100 a year plus a $20 to become an associate. So $120 a year, to be fair. And then $10 a month, which really, if you pay for the year, Your next ownership is in a year from now, which is how we recommend to build your business, to have some predictability on your income for the next 12 months. Highly recommend it. But don't be discouraged on the fact that your income is not showing up. You're not asking people to pay $1,000 to start here. It's $10 a month. And because of that, the company also has to remain profitable. But because they're not dealing with a physical product that have all the expenses associated with delivery and everything else, with all the bureaucrats and government involvement, and everybody wants a piece of everything. In this case, we're dealing with a digital service. That's why the cloud service is such a massive business opportunity. Don't be blindsided by the fact that it's only $10 a month. And by the way, there will be other products and other things that will be offered to associates to benefit, to take advantage of all these, a lot of different features that are going to be introduced, which will give you an opportunity to earn more money for the same existing team that you have, because everybody's going to see, oh, I want this service, I'll upgrade. And some may choose to remain with what they have. So in closing, folks, the key is stay the course. Don't be discouraged by the result that you see right now. Focus on your goal, focus on your dreams. And what you think about, expand. Don't be stuck by the daily operation and the results that you get. If you look at a watch and you look at the minute arm moving, it's slow. I mean, that's long. But if you focus on the goal and you keep doing the activities, a year from now, you'd be surprised on how much growth that you've had. But remember, what you think about, expand. If you think about not enough, poverty, I need more, I don't have enough, and that's all you think about, unfortunately, you are creating a path of repetition within that same line of thinking. Change your thinking. Focus on what could be. And even better, try to imagine what could be as what is. So Tammy and I have been spending years on what we call focusing on what we want, opposed to what we don't want or what we don't have. It's amazing how much you can get out of that. So everybody, have yourself a great rest of your weekend. Stay the course. And we are very proud of you for being here and to stay the course. So we'll talk to you on our presentation on Wednesday and on Friday. And I know many of the leaders here have many presentations throughout the week. Make sure that you attend, but don't show up alone. Show up with your team.
And if you enjoyed today's session, make sure that you put the smash the like button, and more views will go to the channel for GotBackup. And have an awesome weekend, everybody.
Love you guys. Looking forward to your results and your success. Bye for now.